Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. What's going on? Welcome back. Girl Chat Sports, Mo and Mel here. It's time. It's time for Paris.
Yeah.
So tune in. We got a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about obviously the new presidential candidate that's dropped over the week. We're going to talk about some things regarding that. The Olympics is coming up, things to look out for in the Olympics. We've got WNBA news, how the All-Star weekend went, how the ladies are doing in their pre-games with Team USA, as well as some questions on the Team USA men's basketball team, things to look out for this year in the Olympics. Other news, NFL season, the training camp started this week or today, actually. So that's going on. And you've got some Major League Baseball news and stuff too. But first, we needed to talk about the Tour de France, which I hadn't even realized had gone on yet. I guess that wasn't on my news alerts this year, but we want to hear about it. And we got someone who is a huge bike person and a bike man and wants to chat with us about it. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Orestes Moffin. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hi. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hi. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So yeah, the tour. Crazy. Yeah. Absolutely crazy this year.
Tell us about what's so crazy about it.
So, okay, it's come back from a long period of being not maybe disgraced or looked down on because of the doping scandals and because of the Lance Armstrong controversy and stuff, but it's come back to a point where the competition is especially fierce, and it's primarily because of two riders. It's the guys who've won it for the past 4 years alternatingly. So one is a young Slovenian rider called Tadej Pogačar, and he's 25. He won it this year. He won the yellow jersey this year. He won the yellow jersey in 2020 and 21.
Nice.
And then he lost it in 22 and 23 to a Danish rider by the name of Jonas Vingegaard. And so it's at any other time in history, I would say, you just watch out for one rider. But what's special, I think, about this time is that these two guys are so evenly matched, and they've been so right up against each other, and they're really defined quite a bit by their rivalry, I would say. So, and they're like minutes ahead of everybody else, and in a race like this, that matters.
Oh wow! Now I heard that this is the first year that the race didn't end in Paris. Is that because of the Olympics?
That's true. Yeah. So they didn't end the race in Paris because they couldn't prepare. The city was just not ready for the event. And usually, like traditionally, the last stage of the tour is on the Champs-Élysées, and it's a sprinter phase. It features the sprinters. So it's like a big charge down the road and around the arc and stuff like that. And they couldn't do that this year. So they ended it. They totally flipped the script, went all the way down south to the Mediterranean coast, and ended it in Nice, which is on the Riviera and is just like jaw-dropping, beautiful. Yeah. So, and they ended it with a time trial, which is also weird. I don't think it's ended with a time trial in decades. So, just a crazy year. A lot of drama too. I think. So Jonas Vingegaard was, the previous 2 years defending yellow jersey winner. He was severely injured in a crash in April in the Tour of the Basque Country. Wasn't even sure if he could ride, was off the bike for weeks and got back on, didn't really train for the race, and podium, came in second. So it shows you just how dramatic these things can be.
That's wild.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was totally crazy. And
No. I hadn't realized it had been going on, and so it's dope to hear about. And then I know you probably know this guy. Tell us about him. Tell us what.
William Gramai. Yeah. Intermarché rider, first African to win a not just one stage in the Tour de France, but 3. And also first African to get the green jersey. Now, if you're not familiar with the colors of the jersey, so there's basically 4 jerseys in the Tour de France. There's the yellow, which is the general contenders jersey, and this is the rider that has the shortest overall time. It may not be the rider that wins every day, but so many people in the race, they will at the end of the race, the end of the 3 weeks, they'll be the person with the shortest time. There is the green jersey. Now, Biniam has a green jersey on, and what that signifies is that he is the fastest sprinter. All along the course, every day of the race, there are sprint points. So there's these gates where, okay, it's a green gate, and the first person through that gate gets a certain number of points. So on these stages, the ride is all about the sprinters and the teams that center and are built around the sprinters. Biniam was one of these guys. And he not only won several, stages, won 3 stages of the race, but at the end of the race, he came away with the most points and had the green jersey. That's history. That's, for an African to come to a European dominated sport and just blow doors like that, unprecedented historical moment.
Heck yeah, so, it is. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
What's the green jersey again? Because maybe I'm.
Yeah. So the green jersey is the best sprinter. So the fastest.
Okay.
And those guys, and it's dangerous, right? Biniam crashed. He crashed a couple stages before the end. It was, and he, wasn't sure how injured he was, but he powered through it, and he kept crushing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so mad respect. There's 2 other jerseys that are really important. There's the polka dot, and that's the King of the Mountains. So these are the people that, like, they're similar. Like, they have sprint gates. They have at the top of certain climbs, they'll have gates that the first person through there gets a certain number of points, and they're always positioned on generally the harder, more tortuous.
Wow.
And so the guys that go that can punish themselves that bad, they so there's points in that competition too. And then there's the best young rider, and that's I believe it's the best young rider under 25, and that's a white jersey. That's judged more. That's less on points, but
yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think it's a common misconception that everybody's in it for the same thing, and that it's, you get on your bike and you pedal. It's like, no.
Yeah, I never even realized that there were so many different labels. And
I had no idea.
There are people in this race that are not in it for the GC. There's people that are gunning for, like, the sprinter. There's people that really want the polka dot jersey. And there's teams, like, you have to be invited to this race by the organization. So a lot of these teams, they may not have a general contender that they think can do it. So they'll build the team around either a sprinter or a climber or a young rider that they think can get in the breakaway and, like, make publicity, and they'll work for that guy. So it's not all about the yellow jersey necessarily.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is this like your Super Bowl? Is this like what you look forward to every year?
I got to be honest, it is, because it lasts for 3 weeks, and you got to wait a year for it, right? So, I mean, there's other rides that lead up to it, so you can sort of track the progress of these guys through there's a spring classic season, so a whole season in the spring of, like, 1-day races, usually in Northern Europe, on really bad roads and really crappy weather, and you get to watch who's doing well, who's feeling good, who's maybe not got their legs yet, who's injured, and then it's a 3-week story, right, with only 2 days off. So these riders they're going, they're doing 100, 120 miles a day every day for 3 weeks at stupid speeds. Like, just absolutely stupid
120 miles?
They've got to be eating, like, a ridiculous amount of, like, calories just to maintain that kind of energy.
The protein, the carbs got to be down through the roof.
They do, yeah. I mean, the nutritionists on these teams, these guys put away much food. And yeah. And so it's a drawn out story, and then there's stories within the story, right? There's people's histories, there's rivalries, there's people who have switched teams, there's people who are injured, there's guys who got a beef from, like, last year, and it develops over the course of 3 weeks, and it's absolutely insane. So I would say at any other time in history, like we'd be seeing, one person, and we really wouldn't expect much out of the rest of the field, much of a differentiation. But at this time in history, it's real fascinating, because these guys are these two lead riders in particular are very competitive. They're very defined by their rivalry. They're locked neck and neck, and they've really kicked it up to where it's I don't know, the drama was crazy. Just the drama was crazy.
So where are we at in the race right now?
Well, the race finished. So the race
done.
The last the last stage was on Sunday, and it was won by the Slovenian guy. And,
got you.
Yeah, and but the women's tour is coming up in August. So there's a women's event, and that is it's a slightly different route, and I think that's 8 to 10 days. And but I mean, there's again, like very similar situation. You can watch these women because they ride the same races as the men in the spring, in the classic season, in the lead up. And there's what they call the Grand Tour. So there's the Giro d'Italia, which is the Tour of Italy. Then that's usually in like May. There's the Tour de France, which is typically in July. There's the Vuelta a España, which is in August. And there's a lot of climbing in that one. And
a lot going on.
Yeah. So these guys, these riders, they'll do, this is their season, right? They work up to these big grand tours, and then they just hurt themselves for like 4 months, 5 months.
I couldn't imagine. I'm on the bicycle like 20 minutes and I'm in pain.
I mean, I know, this is insane. What got you into the interest of all of this, Orestes? Like, what had you like fascinated so much with Tour de France or any of the tours?
Well, so I live in Tucson, and Tucson is really an amazing biking town. Like I mountain biked in my youth, and got into road biking in my middle age, and I started realizing, like, if you're in Tucson, like, you have such a variety of things. Like, I don't know if you guys know about it, but it's surrounded by mountains, and it's no accident that several pro riders come and train in Tucson in the off season, because you have a variety of stuff. You've got flat rides, long flat rides in the desert. You got mountains around you, some hellacious climbs like Mount Lemmon. Out my back door is 7,500 vertical feet of rock, and you can climb it. You can access it right from town in like 20 minutes. And that's a 30-mile grunt up. It's brutal. You go, it's a 9,000 foot mountain. So, Carmichael had a training camp there. A lot of pro riders came to train there. It's no coincidence that you see a lot of nationally ranked riders come out of that area. Wow. So I started getting into it just.
Do we lose it?
I don't know.
He froze.
Natural.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Like, did we lose it?
Yeah. So that's my story.
Right on. Oh, okay. Good. Well, and I know you weren't really attending any of the events that happened over the weekend, but can you just speak on, since you were in the Arizona area, the Phoenix area, as regards to like how that city kind of prepped for All-Star Weekend for the WNBA? Me and Mo were big on the league and the ladies, but I've heard from visitors there that the city just really showed out. Like, the stuff was everywhere that you saw, whether it be banners hanging or just all the publicity for it. Can you speak to any of that? Yeah, no,
we definitely have had a lot of publicity leading up to this, and particularly down in the business areas in the downtown and in Tempe and stuff like that. You've been seeing a lot of banners and a lot of PR about it. Absolutely, seeing a lot of fans walking around. It's really, I'm sure. It's really, even though it was too crazy hot, walking around in that heat. Not, crossing the street for maybe 5 minutes, sure. Oh, but man. As much as you see people in Phoenix outside of a car or an air conditioned space, it's been a thing here. Absolutely. Okay. Wonderful.
Wow.
Well, Orestes, we appreciate your take on Tour de
Yes,
France.
thank you.
Maybe
for
you'll
finally
have
coming
to
on. He's been
remind
hitting me
Mo
up.
and I for next year.
The women's tour is
the
coming up
women's,
in
yes,
mid-August.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yes.
talk about some hard athletes, man. Check them out because they do the same stuff.
I'm gonna watch the women's, and then we're gonna have you back on again to talk about that women's because I need to be immersed in it to see and relate to like what am I watching, what am I seeing right now.
Right.
I believe it's on Peacock, so check that out.
I got Peacock. No, say less. That's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Enjoy your rest of your
Orestes.
evening.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.
Look at me. I'm like, is it still on? What are the stages? Yeah. Okay, Melissa.
That's why I told you when you want to come on and talk about it. He was going like, it's over. This is the wrap of the Tour de France. I'm like, yes, come on, wrap it up. Let's give us the lowdown. What happened?
Right, because that's a sport we need to talk about it. We haven't.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it, but yeah. So
shout out to our cycle community. You know, we have Alan Snell out there. We have people that are interested in riding. So yeah.
Unbelievable. But thank you to Orestes for that. That was great.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so we got to move on. President Biden caught COVID in Vegas, we know, and then withdrew himself from the presidential race. And right afterwards, we were given the information that Kamala had been taken in to the Democratic. We haven't had the Democratic National Convention yet, so it hasn't been official, but she basically is getting everybody's backing into the Democratic Party's presidential candidate.
Yeah, she's getting some stamps of approval around there for sure.
A lot of stamps of approval, but there is a lot of smear campaigns starting already, boy.
Well, we already knew that was coming. We know. That's fine.
And, we're not going to be the political podcast from now on, but we want to be able to make sure that we give information and that we, offer opportunities for people to speak on it if we need to, broadcast it throughout our channels. One thing that I notice, there's me personally, like, I don't care if you have a difference of opinion politically, like, as long as you're not dragging the other, as if you're not going to drag somebody else, or if you're going to be respectful with it, or some point. I've had a few good conversations with people that are on the other side. But I do want everyone to know, if you don't know who Joy Reid is, or you haven't looked into her, she's all over YouTube in regards to her political stances, in regards to just information. She's basically going to do all next week, starting July 29th. She is going to be having every episode of her weekly show, The Readout, will be talking about Project 25 and exposing kind of the details of it, because I don't think a lot of people out there, like we've mentioned before, have really divulged into the information of those 900 to 1,000 pages and what it could mean if Trump is elected, as well as Trump's, like, what is it, Plan 47 or something like that it's called. I don't know. But yeah, just tune in, learn some information. I don't know if it's 7 p.m. our time or 7 p.m. Eastern time. So it could be 4 o'clock our time here on the West Coast, but just be aware, watch her show. She has a lot of stuff on YouTube as well, so go check it out. It's very informational. There's a lot of things that you don't realize are on there. Anywhere from the abortion, as well as women's rights, to climate change, getting rid of the Department of Education, getting rid of Pell Grant. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have been going to college if it wasn't for a Pell Grant. So I can only imagine anybody else out there in this world who can't get a Pell. If there's Pell Grants are gone, how that affects college, getting rid of the Department of Equity and Inclusion. There's a lot of things there that just need to check out. That's all. Look into it, please. Okay. Another thing that goes on in the Part 25 in regards to policing, we've seen the recent body cam footage from Sonia Massey and that debacle. And a lot of some things that are in Project 25 will be in relation to how police are able to be policed themselves, and some of the things regarding that. So it's just a lot of things we need to really research, and it's good thing that their body cams were on, because we've had incidences where body cams were off, body cams were on. We just give our respects for Sonia Massey's family. I know her father and her son had some discussion they had posted online today too, and it was just
oh yeah.
And if you're this is a whole other subject. I don't know if anybody out there is flying Delta right now, because they are still scrambling to know where their employees are, to know where luggage is. I've seen people post on Facebook that they were having flights canceled from over the weekend, where they got delayed and then rebooked into like yesterday, today. So this whole thing started back like on, what was it, Friday, when the whole airline shut.
It wasn't the Microsoft, but it was
that Microsoft update.
That.
Yeah. The whole update system, which affected a majority of the airlines. It affected people's personal and work computers. It affected functionings of major businesses, all shut down. Well, Delta has been having a problem getting back into the swing of things. So they've canceled 20% of all their flights as of yesterday. And they continue to try and rebound. And apparently someone had posted on Facebook that their customer service line had a 12-hour hold, a 12-hour wait time for customer service. So
I'll call back in 2 weeks, just because, unless you have your whole life in there, you're going to be very diligent about staying on the line and stuff like that. But I don't have that kind of time.
I have zero time. Not at all.
So your phone has to be tied up all that time, hooked to a charger to make sure you get the call. And God forbid you drop. You got to start all over again.
All right, so we've got
just email me.
We've got the Paris Olympics coming. I believe soccer started today, and so we'll be transitioning in. We've had men's and women's basketball we've seen for their tune-ups, their pre-competition games. The men have been squeaking by, by a point.
Squeaking is an understatement.
By a few points. Now, here's the deal: is that whether it is the team, the chemistry, clearly there's tons of talent, but this was a good thing to show, is that this just shows the difference between, and of course the dream team is still my favorite team, but there was 9 NBA players that were on other country teams then. This year for the Olympics, there's 61 NBA players that play for other teams other than USA. So you're seeing just how much of an impact, the different players from different countries are playing in this. It's making it more challenging for the Team USA men's team, because we're seeing them struggle a bit more. They literally were struggling against South Sudan. South Sudan almost got it on them.
Well, they got the NBA in Africa down there, so what are they expecting? Did they think that they weren't going to play up? There's Euro leagues. There's, like you said, to your point, 61 players now currently in the NBA that are from other countries. I mean, these are now legit competition and competitive games.
It's very competitive.
So that was a very, very close match. If LeBron hadn't shot that last shot, it had gone in.
Even then. And maybe, I don't know. I know that, we saw KD. I think KD wasn't playing any of the pre-game. So, we'll see if maybe just when the actual official games start, that maybe there's some changes that are made in lineup. Maybe there's just difference in playing because they're not going full force. I don't know what it is, but keep an eye out for that. The women did great. They
did against Germany. Yeah, they did.
They clobbered Germany. Yeah, they did. Asia went hard. She is now tied with Cheryl Miller for the highest Olympic points per game in U.S. women's basketball history. Asia had a game,
or something like that, right?
She had 19 points, 14 rebounds, and 2 blocks and 2 steals. She had 2 steals. We never see Asia with them, so but she had 2 steals too.
I don't see that stat ever.
Right. Yeah. So looking forward to the women's game starting. That's going to be pretty amazing. And one thing that I needed to share, though, we've got to talk about this too, is because this is the first Olympics in history that has an equal number of male and female athletes.
Oh, you gotta love that. You got to.
2024. So back, I think this started in like 1902 or something. There was like 0%. And then it went up. So, I mean, we've been close. We've been in those 30s and 40s, but this is the first year 50% of the Olympians
equal gender
are
participants. I
women.
love it. You gotta
So
love it.
get it.
Get
it. And major props. I don't know these people. I saw the videos of Flavor Flav in the pool with the water polo team, but the water polo team, the lady there in the center, Maggie Sullivan, I think it is, she had made a post that they needed help funding with their trip. Flavor is taking care of the entire team. He's like, I'm a girl dad. I'm supporting all of the water polo team. He's basically got them into Taylor Swift's concert for the New Era tour, and he's now the official hype man. So keep an eye out for the women's water polo team.
Yeah, he's been doing that for a while right now. Like a couple weeks ago, they had announced him being an official hype man. But to do all of that for them in the name of women's sports and be that much of an ally, it's great. That's huge. You know what I mean?
It's really, really, really cool.
It's good to see.
Really cool.
I like that.
And keep a lookout because we've got our flag bearers for the opening ceremonies. LeBron got picked, as well as Coco Gauff. So big ups and girl power to Coco Gauff. What an honor for her, as well as they get to wear they have a different polo, Ralph Lauren blazer they get to wear as the flag bearers. So that's pretty cool. Also, a couple other flag bearers from the NBA, Giannis and what's his name? Help me out. From Germany. I know you know.
I don't know what you're talking about right now.
On the right there, he's from he's playing for the German team, but he plays for is it Schroeder?
Oh, Dennis Schroeder, you're talking about?
Yes.
I'm like, he plays for Germany. I didn't know he was playing for the German team.
Yeah,
Why did I not know that?
Yeah.
Because I was like, who are you talking about? And I'm like,
I'm like the guy in the picture. You don't see the picture?
I see the picture, but I was like, no, that's in my head. I'm like, that's Dennis Schroeder. Like, he's not playing for no German team. Like, wait, how did that happen?
Hey, and the other thing too, breakdancing is official for the 2024 Olympics. I believe it starts like I can't remember the date, but yeah, so there's a 16 men and a 16 women groups, the B-boys and B-girls. They have different rounds. They do one-on-one competitions. Oh yeah, it starts the 9th for the boys and 10th for the 9th for the girls and 10th for the boys. This is the first time that it has been ever happened in the Olympics. So
Shabadoo and Turbo could see that now. Man,
listen, the breakdancing Olympics, stop.
I would have never. And
I mean,
like, Jabberwockies are like, oh my God, why now? Could have been in that.
Maybe one of them can still get out there. I don't know.
You never know. Somebody might be in the group that's in there. Yeah.
I'm interested to see like what Olympic style break dancing. I want to see what this is looking like. So
I want to know what the qualifying is in order to win. Like, what are you? What is this based on? What competition is it based on?
So I guess they get judged on like 9 different things or 6 different things. So
I need to know categories. I need to know like what that fundamentally looks like.
I don't know if I said it on here or not. Oh yeah, scored by a panel of 9 judges based on 5 categories: musicality, vocabulary, originality, technique, and execution. I'm not sure
what a round robin way. So okay.
Yeah. Wild.
Interesting. All right.
Keeping with the Olympic theme, Jugadores. So Canadian women's soccer team. Assistant coach there, Jasmine Mader, and an unaccredited analyst, Joseph Lombari, were sent home from Paris due to Joseph was flying a drone over New Zealand's practice.
Cheating.
New Zealand figured it out, found out they reported it basically, and he was sending those images and those videos to Jasmine, which made her then the accomplice as well. Both of them are gone. Canada is the defending champs for women's soccer, so this is pretty serious. And they were recording New Zealand, who is their first competitor. I think it is tomorrow.
They need to investigate last time then, if that's the case.
Right. Listen, but in a little bit of fairness, I guess the head coach, she also has decided to voluntarily withdraw from coaching on Thursday's match just because of it. And she says in the spirit of accountability. So even if she did or did not see anything, she's not going to be
well, yeah, because they're going to
present.
accuse her of still being in it too. She's guilty by association, unfortunately. So
Oh, yeah. All
you
the
got to
time.
do the right thing and just all tip out. Yeah.
Let me
That's
cut
crazy,
to
though.
a video. We got to get into our Las Vegas sports. First, our Aces, of course, were in Phoenix for the whole WNBA All-Star
Right.
weekend, playing for Team USA. Sid Colson was there doing some great commentary and interviews. We saw Coach Marsh was there supporting the ladies. But this was one of the interviews they had posted, and it was hilarious because a reporter talks to the three aces. Asia wasn't part of it, but they talked to Chelsea, Kelsey, and Jackie in regards to them being reportedly cooked earlier in the season.
The earlier struggles in the season when, people were thinking, okay, like, maybe the aces were cooked. Like, what would you feel was key as far as being able to just weather that storm and, get back to championship form?
Cooked. Whoa. Excuse me, what's your name? Akeem. I've said this before, but I'm glad that we get an opportunity to talk about it again. When you take out a player like Chelsea Gray, it's like, we've been constructed like a cake. And when you take out the sugar from the cake, it's like cornbread. So that's what everyone saw the first 10 games, cornbread. And that had no honey butter on it. And so, we just needed to get our ingredients back together. And that was really all that was. And so, obviously, the thing about it, too, is when, you've been able to win back-to-back years, everyone's coming for your neck. And so night in and night out, you can't have a night off. And the schedule, it's not making an excuse. It's been tough. We've lost some games we shouldn't have lost. But it's also credit to the league for how everyone's continued to get better and grow. And it's just going to make us better in the long run. But to answer your question, we weren't cooked. We were just missing a key ingredient to the cake. Okay.
Missing a key ingredient to
the cake.
That's absolutely. I love how Kelsey so eloquently kept it cool and gave a very, descriptive picture for us all to relate to.
I like the analogy that she used, and I like the fact that she knew that there was a missing ingredient, and clearly that was kind of a crazy
and that was
question when we knew the reason was because we were missing the ingredient. And I agree. I would never define it as cooked because they weren't down 20 points. They didn't lose by 10 points. They didn't get blown out.
They weren't 0-8 or 9. I mean,
they just had a little, cooked. Yeah. And especially for the schedule that they did have. I do disagree that her schedule was tough. I see it in the regards of maybe so many games that they've had to play, like continuously.
Well, and the competition's greater too. The competition
is greater, but it wasn't a tough schedule. I'm sorry. You had Phoenix. You had you didn't get into the nitty gritty.
LA, they lost to the
you didn't get to the nitty gritty until later on when New York showed up. Or when Connecticut later on in the season showed up, or Chicago. Like those were all later on, like in the weeks to come. But the first few weeks where we were kind of up and down and didn't have that ingredient, it wasn't by high.
And can you imagine if Asia had been there on that panel too? I think
would have went off on that. I can understand that question with the teams that are like top defenders, like the Mystics and the Sun and things like that. But we didn't face them until kind of later on in the weeks to come. But our first opening season games, we were doing all right. But games we should not have lost, to her point, was basically the missing ingredient for sure.
It was missing ingredients for sure.
And it was very close guesses too.
So make sure you keep an eye out for our Las Vegas Aces as well as the rest of the USA Women's Olympic team getting their start. I think their first game is Sunday, or is it Saturday?
I look forward to it. I'm going to watch.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got to give a big kudos to Megan Gustafson too, who's been out there for Spain playing, putting up 18 points, 17 points. So she's really shown out for that team. And I realized that Ezzy from Seattle, she's playing for Australia there too. So,
nice.
The WNBA players are everywhere as well.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be really tough to beat this USA team because they are just that impressive.
Oh, they're loaded. They're loaded and stacked.
Yeah.
There's nothing to get away from that.
Also in Vegas news, the Vegas Nighthawks. I finally got my bucket hat. Shout out to Natalie because she did go for me. I wasn't able to go, bucket hat came. It's dope. I didn't have it on me right now, so I'll have to bring it in and show. But they've clinched the playoffs. It's their first time in franchise history. They'll be in the playoffs. A game is this Saturday, 7:00. So single tickets are on sale. I saw a promo email out today that, tickets start as low as $25. So if you're in the area and want to head over to the LFF to catch in some arena football,
That's a good
hit
look.
up the Nighthawks for sure.
This is just what can I say is that what can I say is that we're a winning city though. We are just that type of city. Where potential of teams.
Your Raiders are now in training camp in California. Like,
they got to get together. They need to join this roster.
Okay.
They need to join the roster of playoffs because we've got now 3 teams in the city that are like playoff bound. Like, this is crazy. That can be end up winning everything. So
right. My last little bit for Vegas news is just on a personal note. I had seen someone post this. So Power 88, you know how a lot of people do back to school clothing drives and donating. Well, that usually it's always the high school kids that don't really get anything because no one's donating the kids, the clothing for, the middle-aged or, the bigger kids, high school kids. So Power 88 is having a hoodie drive. And if you're like me, because I literally probably have like 50 to 60 hoodies. You might have a few that you can spare that are gently used or new even. The Wake Up Squad is doing a hoodie drive. You just got to drop them down at the station between 9 and 4 p.m. I've already gone through my closet. I literally have, I think, 10 or 12 hoodies to donate that probably haven't been worn more than once or twice. So we only know how those high school kids, we see them in the summer wearing hoodies. We see them anywhere wearing hoodies.
Now, you think it sounds just outrageous that they're having a hoodie drive in the middle of 105-degree weather? Like, who is thinking about
they
hoodies?
wear them all the time.
I've seen kids wearing hoodies out in the sun, and I don't get it, but they're in it. Like,
they're in them, and that's what they love. You'll see them in a hoodie in the 90-degree weather. Or you'll see them in it with 40-degree weather. It's just a hoodie, period. It's always a hoodie. There's no jackets. It's just hoodies. So if you have the ability, if you want to go through your closet and find those gently used or get some new hoodies and donate them, I'm going to drop them off at the Power 88 station and hoodie drive. So my bag is packed. I just got to make my way down there. All-Star Weekend, like we talked to our guest. I read a lot of the commentary in like the WNBA forums and the groups, and it seems like everybody had a blast. Everybody was having a great time, even with the heat, because unlike here in Vegas, where they kind of had all the, they had the fan experience in the game in the same building in Mandalay Bay. You didn't really have to get outside. Out there, it was different. People couldn't just stay in a hotel right next to it, and they didn't have the experience within the arena. So people were walking around. It was hot, but people loved it. They had things everywhere. They had posters, they had banners. It was purple and orange all over the place. You got to give a big shout out to them. MVP Enrique, listen, 34 points in the second half. She had 21 points in the third quarter. She went off. And
especially when she thought she wasn't going to score anything because she had 0 points in the first quarter.
0 points the first half. Listen,
came
out of, and there was a point in time where her and like Caitlin and I can't remember who was the other person on Team USA. They were or Brianna Stewart. Brianna Stewart was keeping Team USA in this game when it came to that fourth quarter. It was like 3-3 everywhere you looked, and it was wild. It was wild.
I was actually a really good spectator to watch of that game. It was very high intensity, high packed, and they kept the game flowing. It never was a boring moment. They actually played with intensity and not playing goofing around. Like, they really were into
and it was better than the men's all-star team.
It was much better than the men's game. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Big shout out. What's up, Jonathan Watson?
Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, exactly.
April, thanks for checking in. USA is going to, yes, for sure. It was a great thing. And here's what's even better. They set a viewership record with 3.44 million viewers.
Yeah.
3.44 million viewers. Get this. The last record in 2023 was 1.44 million. Guess how much there was last year?
How much?
Yes. 850,000.
Oh.
They like quadrupled the
numbers.
and it was still on ESPN and it was still primetime last season. So again, not that for nothing, the vets and the ladies that have been around for a while, but this new session of ladies that have come
The
through
Angel Reese
that
and
have
Caitlin Clark effect is real, and this is I'm just going to call what it is. This is what we're seeing, and this is
quadruple the viewership of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like,
and it was a good game to watch. Like it wasn't even
it was
a bad
great game.
It was a good game.
And both rookies had rookie records.
Yeah.
Caitlin had 10 assists. Angel Reese had a double-double. Like, come on.
She does best. Yep.
And then, of course, you got to give it up for Alicia Gray, who took home both of the skills and 3-point and got $110,000 as payment because she got, I think, 55 for each one. Mind you, her salary, I think, is like 170,000. So she almost made her salary in one night.
Just in
like
2 hours. And just and just doing 2 things. 2 skills, 1 skills and 1 3-point. That's crazy.
It's really
it's
wild.
Almost like I don't know. God, it just doesn't make any sense, right?
It makes.
You play a whole season of basketball and you play for 1 weekend.
And so we do have news. So we talked about it last week that the new media deal, because of course. We'll get to the NBA part later because we got to talk about that.
Talk about that when I'm so sad.
I know. Now. So, but part of that deal is the WNBA's deal. So they get, I think, $2.2 billion over 11 years, which I still think is shortcoming because you don't know how much this is going to explode in the next 2 or 3 years. They should be getting more, but it's basically $200 million extra a year in income. They were only getting 60 million before. So we are, I think, once those CBA deals are redone, we are going to see the ability to pay the players more. So I think
absolutely.
That's going to be good. That's going to be good. And then we also just need to talk about this. Not only is it the merch sales. The merch sales.
I still didn't get that purple and orange jersey. I wanted it.
I tried. The one person I tried couldn't find it. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. I don't know. But WNBA merchant sales up 500%.
Crazy.
Player specific apparel is up 1,000%. Of course, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark, the 2 highest selling jerseys so far this season, followed by Sabrina Ionescu, Asia Wilson, and Kate Martin. Top 5. Kate Martin is in the top 5. Listen.
Kate Martin's Iowa. But Kate Martin is a scrapper.
Money Martin. Money Martin.
Yeah, she's
money.
She's
Martin.
Aces too. Yeah. She's Vegas Aces. And she's been balling too when she's with us. So, you know.
Caitlin Clark also was on a NASCAR.
I saw that. And I was
wild.
Like, you gotta be kidding me.
Wild.
But I
listen, when you got WNBA players or, you know, women in general on cars.
A woman on the car in sports on a NASCAR car. About to go
and it's
make
not
those
even
laps.
a woman driving the car. Let's get it straight. So, good Lord.
What are we talking about right now?
Good.
Awesome.
I cannot. Yeah. April mentioned Braun carrying the flag. We discussed that earlier as well as Snoop Dogg and the torch. So for sure.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's really good. You can check back in the beginning of the show and listen to those parts.
I want to see him light a blunt with the torch and then put it up there.
Is smoking legal like that in Paris?
That would be so dope, huh?
I was gonna say, is it allowed in Paris? Like,
it is not. I'm just saying I would like to see
anybody out there. No, the French. Yeah.
No, I don't think it would be, but it would be just like a monumental look.
Literally, I think it was Monday. We were showed with this that Warner Broadcasting was going to match the Disney offer, and that basically there's hope. They're coming back. It's gonna happen.
I'm watching all these reminiscent reels and everything else. Like there's a chance.
And then this today, NBA said, "Nope, we do not want your offer. It's not as great as you think it is. They want to be more on the global span of the NBA with all the streaming services that are offered." And my whole thing is like, so Warner doesn't have a streaming service, or just because it's not Amazon Prime, or it's not like Disney.
It's not what the world is seeing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
did
got to
she
be one
just
of
fall?
those.
No. Yeah,
No, I
it's
didn't follow
wild.
Tom.
And so listen, when we say hug your friends and family tight, enjoy every Thursday night or whatever else that TNT puts
You
on,
got to
that
make it
the NBA,
a ritual now. It's got to be a
it's
ritual
gonna
every
have to
single
be
time.
like every week. Like you need to just take it all in, love it,
Mm-hmm.
absorb it, because
Yep.
after this next NBA season, it is gone.
Over. And I'm so sad. I literally thought we had a chance, and then the news came across my phone today. I was like, oh no.
Like, really?
Dang.
You go. And I think, I don't think like the new generation really cares as much, because we were right. They've been on TNT for almost 4 decades. So almost most of our lives, we have watched basketball
I
on
think the new
TNT.
generation was into it because they liked the antics and they liked Shaq and they liked,
Sure.
there was a lot of things in Charles. Everybody knows these guys. Like this is stretched through the
I feel like it
generations,
hurts
and we're
us more.
still.
I feel like it hurts. I don't know. I
I
feel like it
mean,
hurts me more.
I think it's hurtful all the way around. I think it
Yeah.
may touch our soul a little deeper because we've known them longer, but the impact has been
Oh,
phenomenal with all of
absolutely.
these guys. And then even
Especially
when you
when
have the
Chuck
younger
says he's not
relevant
going to do
players on
anything
there,
else.
and when you
Yeah.
have the younger relevant players and they're doing post game interviews with Anthony Edwards or people that the kids can relate to, they're watching this show. Like it is devastating all the way around.
Yeah.
It is going to be well missed.
And then to see if the others go anywhere else, because Chuck already mentioned he wasn't going to do anything else. But what about
And
Shaq,
Ernie said he was
Kenny?
staying, and I don't know.
And Ernie
Shaq's
said he
got
was
so much going
staying.
on his bad, and they all have podcasts. They all have their,
Yeah.
little niches. I wonder what Kenny the Jet's going to do next, but they do have other outlets to talk about sports. Like subscribe to Chuck and Ernie's podcast. Subscribe
Yeah.
to Shaq's podcast.
Yeah.
When Kenny the Jet goes on All the Smoke or any of the other outlets, tune in. Like this is where we're going to be getting our takes going forward now, and I think that's going to raise their platform to even possibly have a show.
They're going to have
on
to
TV
just do a show themselves, have a podcast
They
with all
are. They're
4
gonna
of
have
them.
to.
That's it.
Yeah. YouTube could pick them up and they do a show. I don't know. Like they could live stream it while watching the show. Twitch could pick them up.
Like,
and
what
watch
do we do
games and
without
talk about
it?
all that.
I mean, I don't know.
Like,
It's hard to
I
think
know.
about.
But we'll
Other
see. We'll see with
other
that.
NBA news. Giannis gifted the entire Greece team that he's playing for with his new Greek or Giannis Freak Sixes. So all of his teammates are stacked. Chicago.
I don't know how I feel about those shoes though. I really don't. But okay.
Yeah. The Chicago Bulls are set to begin what's called the Project 1901 or 1901 project. It's supposed to start in 2025. They're going to be adding a 6,000 seat theater style music hall, one of a kind elevated park, reimagined parking, improved pedestrian experience, hotel, retail programming. The one thing I couldn't find on all that information is where's the Jordan statue going to be? Because through all of their remodels and changes, that statue gets moved around to where it's harder and harder to get any access to. So please, whatever you do, just let Jordan live. Let people be able to take pictures with him. Again, I had a girlfriend that was in Chicago a month ago, and there was like 2 gates before his. Like you couldn't even get past 2 gates to get to his statue. So, anyways. Wild. The NFL training camp is back.
Yes, it is.
We're this close to seeing at least preseason games, and to the Hall of Fame game is coming. This weekend? No, next weekend.
Next weekend.
Hall of Fame game. We've already,
football's
of course,
back, you guys. I don't care.
Football's back. We've already got
back. We are in effect right now. It is now
absolutely.
Football
Absolutely. Michael Gallup there on the right is retired.
Yes.
He only played like 6 seasons for Dallas. He actually got picked up by the Raiders in April, but he said he's retiring.
Said, nah, he don't want to do it. He'd rather retire than be a Raider. All right, that's fine.
CeeDee Lamb hasn't reported. There's a lot of people not reporting to training camp
Cowboys,
because
he's coming to camp, but I don't know what that's all about. I want to know more on what's going on with that.
I mean, it's wild. At least for the Niners, Ayuk, he has gone to training camp, but he ain't got a deal yet. And he's asked for a trade unless he gets the deal he wants. So, hey, if you want to come to Seattle, Ayuk.
I was about to say, listen, we have room too.
We got room. We got room for talent like that.
Yeah,
We've also seen some new looks with the guys coming right there in the center.
Joe Burrow. What are we doing? I don't know.
I mean, who wore it better, Burrow, Slim Shady, Eminem, or Cody Rhodes? Like, who's got the?
I'm gonna have to go with Eminem, and between Eminem and Cody Rhodes. I mean, Cody Rhodes, that was his signature thing, but Joe, I don't
Joe, the
know.
buzz
I don't
cut
know.
and the dye, like where'd the hair go? It's a lot.
I think it makes him look older, though.
It just makes him look very, I don't know. What's that one cartoon? I forgot that.
Very Golden Lordish.
It's a lot. It's a lot. We also saw Jamar Chase sporting a fresh cut. Like there on the right, Jamar Chase for the Bengal. Like, listen,
They got rid of the braids and decided to do some waves. I mean, this
yeah,
is what we do
new
sometimes.
start
If it's
for
hot
people.
in the summer and you want to just change up a little bit, be a little cooler up in there.
It's a new start. Hey, listen,
it's a fresh start, but you can always by mid-season I'll have the braids again. You never know.
So Kittles on the Niners had a abdominal surgery, I guess, in the off season. I didn't realize. I mean, I watched the rookie and I'm seeing and watching, but apparently after that, he said that he had played for like 10 games injured. He had abdominal surgery. I haven't seen any pictures of him in the off season, but he had lost so much weight. He just gained 26 pounds back to be back at his original weight. Can you imagine 20? Maybe I need abdominal surgery.
No, I don't know how.
26.
You don't want to gain it back. Like, I don't know. I feel like I wish they could have shown.
That's wild. But as a tight end, you need that weight to be able to protect yourself and not get further injured.
Well, no, he needs to. But I'm just thinking, like, dang, he kept that under wraps because we saw no photos or imagery of George Kittle, not even on his social media of him being 20 pounds lighter. Like, what does that look like? Because
26 pounds. Like, that's
the receiver show, the rookie, like you said on Netflix.
Yeah,
you're not thinking about it.
You're not even thinking. I got to rewatch. I think I slept through that last. I want to watch the last episode to see if anything was talked about, because it has the season ending for everybody. But yeah, it's wild. It's really wild. But also shout out to the Vikings. This was Kyrie Jackson. This is the one that died, the rookie that died in the car accident earlier this month. The Vikings are going to be paying out his contract bonus to his estate, which is over like $200,000. They're going to also pay for majority of the funeral expenses, which is being held this Friday. Coaches, a few players will be attending the funeral, as well as the Vikings will have a KJ on their helmets for the whole season, and coaches will have KJ pins just in remembrance and support for Kyrie Jackson. And that's just
that's pretty nice.
4th round draft pick this year.
Yeah, it's devastating that happened.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's also we're now over the hump of Major League Baseball. We're into the second half of the season, and in true Mariner fashion, we have completely slumped. We lost and got swept by the Angels just today. Although we have Julio Rodriguez, JP Crawford, both are on the injured reserve list now. My mom is consistently texting me daily about how much
I'm sure she is. Right now. Shout out to Doreen.
Doreen's going in. Yeah. But yeah, so and then but your Dodgers seem to be doing great.
Dodgers gonna be Dodgers until we get later on in
Dodgers
the season.
Are gonna
see
be
what that
Dodgers.
Postseason looks like.
Yeah.
We've been doing great without a Mookie Betts. We thought that was gonna hurt us. And it didn't. We've had some reserves. I didn't know we're gonna come out of the woodwork. So yeah.
Major League Baseball also announced the All-Star Game for next year will take place in Hotlanta, 2025. That's going to be a humid game.
Man.
It's going to be good, though.
Atlanta. It's be a vibe out there.
Yeah.
A lot of history in Atlanta when it comes to baseball and the Negro Leagues and stuff like that. So I think that's a great place for it to be.
I know our guy Donnell. I know Goose over at Let the Ball Bounce is going to Braves are his team. So I know he's fully excited for that one.
And I'm sure with them being the host team like that, they're going to set that out. It's going to be nice. Yeah.
Right. So before we go, I did want to show a quick little video of your Dodgers because they're paying homage to their female athletes. So this is a quick little girl power because we love our women in sports.
Your favorite athlete?
My wife. Maybe like Lolo Jones.
Serena Williams is the best female athlete.
Serena Williams.
There it is.
I gotta go with that one too, Serena Williams.
Serena Williams.
Favorite female athletes, probably Caitlin Clark. Baller.
Serena Williams.
I'm gonna go Nelly Corda.
Serena Williams.
Favorite female athlete, Loren Hernandez, my little sister. She plays D3 volleyball at Manhattanville University.
Serena.
Why Serena?
She's the best.
Favorite female athlete?
Serena Williams.
I think Serena and Venus Williams.
Favorite female athlete, probably Candace Parker. I was at Tennessee growing up, so yeah, Candace Parker.
Mia Hamm.
Mia Hamm.
Caitlin Clark's a good one. I like Caitlin Clark.
Katie Ledecky, especially with the Olympics coming up.
Favorite female athlete?
Yeah, Serena Williams.
Favorite female athlete of all time, Jackie Joyner Kersey. Go Bruins.
Shout out to Dave Roberts.
I
our
love
manager,
the FloJo
going
one.
with the OG
Yes.
Jackie Joyner Kersey. And
I
never,
love the
never
Katie
forget.
Ledecky one.
I love the Candace Parker. I love my
Candace
boys in blue. I love
Parker.
the fact that they are into it. And I love the men that are
Yes.
supporting their wives and their family members in sports.
Yes.
Otani did right, supporting his wife.
Yes,
He is the greatest of all time. So to carry each other
Yes.
like that, it's just it's great.
It
It's
was
great to
great.
see.
Although I throughout part of it, I was like, do they only watch soccer and tennis? Like, is that it? But then as I
But it's
kept going, I was
good
like,
that they
okay.
said Mia
yeah.
Hamm and stuff. It's good to see the other
Right.
interests of what athletes in other sports watch. So for their eyes to be, FloJo by hands down, was definitely one of those. But that was her sister-in-law, Jackie Joyner Kersey. They were like sisters. So
Okay.
if that's what you got to go with that, I'd go with that.
That's what you got to do.
So,
Man.
yeah.
And we're going to see Sha'Carri in the Olympics.
Yes, we are.
So that's like a little mini, it's like another FloJo part 2 coming this way, I think.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
It is.
Again, the Olympics are here. Everybody's kind of excited. I'm excited for all the different sports that we're going to be able to watch. So we appreciate everybody that tuned in today and checked in with us.
Yes, we
if
did.
you have just catching the end, hit the replay, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe. It's free, $99.
$3.99.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit up our social medias at Girl Chat Sports, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Get in the group. We got our own separate group aside from the Facebook page, so make sure you check it out. And then, of course, you can always check us out on Fuel Sports Network live on your Fire Stick or what's the other? Why do I forget this every time? Fire Stick and what's the other? Roku. I just don't have a Roku, so I never can remember it.
And I don't have a Roku
and
either.
Fire
I'm like, Roku, really? Okay, yeah. All right,
I'm like,
let's go with it.
I mean, I got Amazon, so of course everywhere's I got like 5 Fire Sticks lying around, but I don't have a Roku. So anyways, check us out, Fuel Sports Network. We'll be back here next week. We appreciate everybody that's tapped in with us and checked in on us.
Thank you, Orestes, for coming on and giving us our tour
yes,
de France.
thank you again, the Tour de
Orestes,
France. Yes, we love the bike.
Appreciate
Okay,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we'll check everybody out next week. See you later. Bye.
All right, we're out.